All right, here we go with another installment of Biology in the Basement, special edition. You teach the class. This installment is about fish. I think I'm going to have to take a few points on your spelling of fish, Josh and Gabe. And, Gabe doesn't even get his name capitalized. What, is Gabe his own species where we're capitalizing the genus and lowercase for the species is Gabus ector, his own species? Will the world ever know? Let's not find out. Okay, so all jokes aside, these guys did do a great presentation. It's very straightforward, so we'll get through it quickly. So let's have a fact of the day so that we can get started. Speaking of quickly, hopefully someday you guys will aspire to earn Porsche money, meaning the automobile, the Porsche, because as of today, all Porsches that have been produced in the last 25 years, 97.25% of them are still on the road today. That is the highest average for cars produced in the last 25 years to have over 97% of them still on the road today. So there's your fact of the day. Let's get started with fish. Okay, so these first few slides are for my benefit, just general information. I'll tell you when it's time to fill in your spreadsheets. Right, the classification is these are animals with a spinal cord. After that, we are into our group, the Pisces fish. This is their definition. This is more for me. Nutrition and habitat. Right, this one's mine as well. They eat all kinds of stuff, whether it's other fish or worms or plants or decaying matter. Fish eat pretty much everything depending on the species. Same thing, fish live everywhere there is water that has oxygen in it. Even in some cases where there's very little oxygen, the fish can survive. So they're found anywhere there's water and food. So we've got lots of subgroups for the fish. They go down to simple things like these gross jawless fish. They just have these sucker faces. And then we have cartilaginous fish, which includes sharks, skates, and rays. And then we have something called bony fish, which are just fish that are actually made up of bones, the ones that you think of. Adaptations in fish are wide, right? Just simple things like gills and fins are very important. Scales and their lateral line that help them to detect pressure in the water. Also, they have a swim bladder, right, that helps them with, good word, boys, buoyancy in the water, keeping them at the right level of where they want to be. And can't forget about the good old anglerfish that has a cool symbiotic relationship with some bioluminescent bacteria, I think it is, that will benefit both attracting prey and giving the bacteria a place to live. But we'll talk more about that relationship when we get to ecology. Okay, like I said, simple and to the point. For your slideshow, we've got multi-celled. We have vertebrates. They have an internal skeleton. For nervous system, you can write brain, spinal cord, and nerves. Their circulatory system includes a simple heart, we'll say, and a closed circulatory system. Their digestive system is continuous. Their respiratory system relies on lungs. Their sensory organs, like I mentioned, the lateral line, but they can also see and technically hear underwater as well as detect temperature, pressure, things like that. So they have those structures. They are cold-blooded, meaning that they are right now maybe starting to move. It's still pretty chilly outside if you haven't noticed, but things are going to start moving for the fish, right? It is um, trout season, right? Um, Egg laying and live young. Fish pretty much lay eggs primarily. There are some sharks, and this sounds really disgusting, but there are some sharks that give birth to live young in sight, but they just happen to keep the eggs inside their body, and the eggs hatch, and then all of a sudden a bunch of baby sharks swim out of a mother's body, and it's really creepy to watch. So stay away from that one. All right, fertilization is mostly external. They do not nourish with milk, and very few care for their young. So I would say not many. So there you go. Good job, boys, talking about fish.